Hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of Paper Talk. So, we are almost about to wind down season 8. Can you believe it? We're almost at 200 episodes. Today is episode 187, and we kind of want to touch back on some of the projects that Sarah, Jessie, and myself are working on, have done that this year, will be doing this year, and things that we're just kind of planning on. It's been really amazing just to kind of see what our community has been growing and showing and really exploding with paper flowers and what we've been doing to kind of help bring paper flowers into our own community. And I have to say, Sarah, your exhibit down in San Diego, doing that beautiful wall of paper flowers with acknowledgement of all the donors and sponsors for that particular museum it was beautiful. I love how they
Thank you.
framed it.
Yeah.
And I want to hear more about that. And then Jessie, this is something that I'm so excited for you. I really want to try to come up to Toronto to kind of see your solo show that's going to be happening. You've been sharing a lot of your paper flowers, what you've been making for that. It's going to be really, really crazy amazing. I can't wait to see that. And I can't wait to hear about how many pieces you're putting together. And then also one thing that's been on my plate is a lot of workshop this year. And the one that has been really been on top of my list has been with Hitomi Gilliam with the flower headpieces, and then going to Snow Farm earlier this year to kind of bring paper flowers to the East Coast. And I'm so, so excited, guys. So they asked me to come back to Snow Farm for next year. And we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm doing the life cycle of a dahlia. So this will be the first time I'm going to show people how to do the tuber and also kind of showing people how to make a dahlia grow from that in paper form. And then the really cool thing that I'm going to be doing this fall is actually going down to Mexico City for an international paper flower workshop. And it's going to be really amazing. It's going to be teaming up with the Day of the Dead. So we're going to be doing flower headpieces with Hitomi Gilliam in person. So if you did it online and you want to do the in-person experience, it's going to be really, really amazing. But let's shine the light back on Sarah. And Sarah, give us the lowdown. How did the museum happen? How did it evolve? And I mean, it's just a really cool piece to add to your CV.
Yeah, it was about a year ago they had contacted me, so it has been kind of going back and forth for about a year, and it's finally installed. But actually, a really cool thing is that they had reached out to me because one of the person that was in charge of the department had just come to one of my workshops. So workshops are so important because literally, she came to my workshop. I haven't done a San Diego workshop since before the pandemic. That means it's been more than 6 years ago. And then she, just remembered me. I think maybe she followed me ever since then. And then when this project came around, she thought it would be a good idea to contact me. So then that's how we started working together. And I think that is such a cool reason to be able to do workshops. And I have said this before to our mastermind members. We always talk about why the workshop is so important. It's not just about teaching, although yes, that's fun too. But it's actually a way to network while you're getting paid.
Yes.
And advertising your work. Because a lot of times they come to my class thinking, oh, I'm going to make flowers for my wedding or for my event. And then they come to my class and they go, actually, you're better at it. I'm going to hire you. So it's a bonus plus a bonus because they come to my class and then they're like, actually, I just want you to make it. And then I end up working for them or whatever. But anyways, that's why workshops are so important. And so they reached out to me about a year ago. And we went back and forth. They did want me to do very specific California native flowers. So that was a little tricky because they literally gave me the species scientific name. And I'm I don't know what those are called. I thought they were just succulents and I call them succulents. And they would have a very specific cactus name where I just called it the spiky cactus or something. And it was really nerve-wracking actually, because I had to submit a sample And then they have, botanists, people that like study flowers and plants, like that are actually part of the museum that, critique the samples I gave them.
Mhm.
So they were very specific. Like I just put a pink flower on a cactus because I
Yeah.
thought like, why not? But it was actually like they were like, no, it has to be a yellow and it has to be this shade of color and very specific to
Yeah.
that species of cactus. Whereas I thought like, oh, a cactus could have of like a pink flower or whatever. Yeah.
It
But
must have been
that's really
nerve-wracking.
fun though. Yeah, it is. I was really nervous. Or are they even going to be like, nah, never mind, we're not going to do this anymore? So finally, they were like, yes, we're going to go through with it. They had ordered, I don't even know the final number of how many flowers they ordered, but it was very like specific. And I think like the more you donated money, it was going to be like a bigger flower, a bigger frame. And then some of the smaller ones were going to be the ones that are like the less. Yeah, super fun. And they had a whole team of people that made the frames separately. And it took them a while because they had construction in their building. So we had to wait for that. So I was really excited when I finally visited. And actually, another cool thing is they had told me to submit my work to the California Native Plant Society, which is, I didn't even follow them at one point because I didn't really know. Uh, they were having a convention and they wanted like a art like show or something. And I was like, okay, why not? It totally did not think it was going to be serious. But actually, another thing is that these people all study plants and flowers. So to make art for them is going to be it needs to be very good, you know? So it was cool. I was able to win like favorite overall and maybe most creative or something. Like I don't remember the two
Yay.
categories, but it was really exciting because like they did have other artists and I thought like, like maybe I don't know, like I didn't have high expectations, but it was cool to know that like they thought it was cool.
So where is it mounted?
The
The
wall
museum.
installation
Yeah,
for
the
the
muse
museum?
yeah, yeah.
It's in the lobby, and, basically what their concept was, it was, when you go into a museum or, like, even a library, because 'cause I've been looking at them ever since, there's a wall in the corner somewhere that you totally miss, and it just has, like, the name of people that helped fund the program or the museum or the building,
Mhm.
right? So usually you'll never really pay attention to that area. And originally at their museum, it was like the same way. It was just like kind of like a poster that had people's names, like a list,
Yeah.
and you would totally walk past it. But they were going under construction, so they decided they wanted to renovate that whole area and make something that's more of an installation rather than just a list full of names. So that's why they decided to do this. And I didn't have like high expectations. I just thought like, whatever, right? When I went there, I was like, whoa, this thing is huge. It was like a huge wall. Uh, it like kind of fills up like their lobby area. You can't
Yeah.
miss it. And like the amount of comments that came through, like on my TikTok, like on my Instagram, I feel like they're all usually like my friends or people that have been following me for a really long time. But on TikTok, like these were random people that were like, wow, like I just visited it and I saw it and it looks great or whatever. Like so many comments that like I thought like, well, these are actual people that are like locals to San Diego that visited and,
Oh,
had recognized that that was like a cool installation. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's really exciting.
Yeah, congratulations, Sarah.
Thank
That is
you.
really, really big. That's amazing.
yeah.
Yeah, I was so excited.
Did you have to frame it yourself? Or
No.
did you so you presented the work and then they
Mhm.
got them framed?
Yeah. So I just gave them like a box full of flowers, although that was like, like a lot of things that you had to think about, like the logistics, because
Uh-huh.
some of them, like the cactus specifically, they have little spikes on them and I can't be like tossed over. So it had to be very strategic on how to pack it up. And then for them to, you know, give it to the people that frame it. And then have them frame it. It is a little tricky because, I had a specific way in my head, like
Mhm.
how it should be framed,
Yeah.
but then I have to make it so that other people could do it. So yeah, but it worked out. Yeah. And the people that installed the frame was also like separate. So they made the frame and then they installed it onto a wall. Yeah.
Well, we saw images of it and it looked amazing.
I know. I've been
Yeah.
spamming my whole like Instagram and social media. I've been trying to, actually one of the things that I wanted was that like maybe in the future other museums could consider that. I go to like
Mhm. Yeah.
I go to a place called the Huntington Library, and they also have like a wall of donors. And I'm thinking like they would be the perfect candidate for having a wall installation of paper flowers too, because they're like a garden and,
Yeah.
very much like in tune with nature. So I think it would be cool. Like hopefully that would be cool opportunities for fellow paper artists as well.
Yeah. One thing that people have to consider is this making it sun resistant because of the
Yeah.
UV ray, the paper will
Hmm.
fade. That's something that when I did my museum exhibit, we talked a lot about how it was fading because I sent samples and they purposely test by placing it by a window without any, because most of the glass that's over the exhibit is museum glass. So it
Hmm.
has UV protections. And then they were trying to figure out like, how can we even preserve it even more? And they did order extra for replacements, but also things you have to consider that you didn't think about before. So a lot of discussion back and forth before you actually start creating. There's a lot of thinking and
Yeah.
problem solving beforehand.
Luckily, like the museum, one of the renovations they had was they had a wall, they had a roof that was glass and it was beautiful. But they were like, oh, it's not efficient for like air conditioning and it's hot in California. So they decided to just cover the roof. So it worked out because the insulation doesn't technically get like direct sunlight,
Yeah.
Yeah.
whereas the previous building did. It did have like direct sunlight. But that was the reason why they decided to make the renovation in general. Although I was like, "Oh, I really liked that roof because it was really pretty." It kinda looked like a greenhouse, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. Cool. So, Jessie, tell us about your solo show that you're doing in the fall. Do you know the date? How many pieces you're making? And give us all the details.
Yeah, so it's going to be in November. It's from November to January. So 2 months. It's a 2 months show. It's pretty much the first opportunity I get to share only my work. And when I submitted my proposal, it was for 2-dimensional work because they don't have space for 3-dimensional work. So with 3-dimensional work, usually you need a plinth or something to put your work in and people can walk around. So that requires a lot of real estate, I guess, like space. So this space is a gallery space on the upstairs of the Richmond Hill Cultural Center, and they just opened it this year. I'm also going to teach there too. But speaking of what Sarah said about teaching workshops, essentially the opportunity came about, and I found out about it because I teach workshops at the city of Richmond Hill, and when they were renovating the cultural center, they wanted to promote it, and the best way to promote it is to spam all of the teachers and instructors, right? And anybody in the art community as well, in the Richmond Hill art community, to tell them about the opening, to tell them about opportunities. And so I heard about the opportunity, but I was like, oh, I don't know, I don't have a lot of work because a lot of a lot of our work is sent out, right? We give it away. So I didn't apply, but then one of the curator personally contacted me about it. And so I was like, okay, well, I can see what I can do. After some discussion with her about what is possible, I decided, why not? I'll send in a proposal and see what they think. And so, yeah, my proposal got accepted. And so the cool thing is that it's my first time presenting all my work. And when I talked to the curator, there was a possibility of hanging some 3-dimensional work as well. So I could hang some of
Awesome.
my sculptures, which is really, which will be different, I guess. I know a lot of us do hang it, our work. And we do it informally, maybe as a way to hang it on our in their homes, or to store it, to just get it off the ground. But I don't really sell my work hanging. I mean, sometimes I do, but I just thought that it would be a really good opportunity. I want to say excuse, but an opportunity to explore different ways of mounting the work as well. I mean, I've had reservations about mounting my work before, and I think I talked about it before on the podcast too. I talk about it in my newsletter too, about what that means in terms of how it's presented, especially our botanical work and what it means. So it's going to be interesting. It's a big space. Like there's a big wall that's about 100 and it's almost 200 inches across.
That's big.
It's really big. The ceilings are not too tall. I think they're 8 or 9 foot ceilings, but the wall is essentially would be 9 feet and 200 inches across, which is, I don't know how many feet that is, but when I went there, there was already a show on, so I could see how the work was presented. It was a painter who had canvases, 30 by 40 inch canvases.
Oh.
He had like 3 or 4 of them across that wall. So it gave me an idea of what kind of space it was. There were also other walls too. Anyways, the bottom line is I need to plan it out, but the estimate is about, if I was to use the wall space to create larger pieces of work, I would need like about 10 large pieces. And then all the other pieces can be smaller pieces to put on the other walls or to group together. So my thinking is the main wall, I'll have a mixture of 2-dimensional work. So still art prints, and then also some sculptural work that could hang from something on the back. So this is the thing. Okay. So if you've never showed at a gallery, they have different requirements. So some galleries will require you to have everything hung because they use a gallery's wall system. So that means that you have to have a backing on whatever it's mounted on, and it has to have D-rings and it has to have wire. And the way that it's hung is, to be honest, not ideal for 2-dimensional work. It's never flat, right? It's never hung flat. It's going to hang slightly out. And so if we're going to hang 3-dimensional work, it also has to have a backing with a D-ring with wire. And so we have to think about in terms of like, what would that look like? Like something that you put mounted on something small probably would not work on a mounting system just because of the size and the weight of it. It will look kind of weird. It won't sit flat against the wall. So some galleries won't though. Some galleries, they will like let you, hammer things into the wall because after your show, they'll just redo the whole thing. But that's not common for galleries or for venues where they have a lot of rotating artists come in. They don't want to do that. That's a lot of work. So my only thing is, if I am going to hang 3-dimensional work, it's going to have a backing. And then I have to figure out what kind of backing that is and whether or not I want to put something over it, like an acrylic box or something. But then now it comes down to cost, right? It's cool that there's so much like space, which is why I asked Sarah about the mounting. I have to pay for all of that. It's really expensive.
It is.
So I'm looking into trying to get an exhibition grant for it. Because, just framing, let's say it's not even 30 by 40. Let's say it's, I don't know, slightly smaller, 20 by 30. The ratio is completely wrong. The frame itself is going to be like 100 plus.
Yeah. Easily.
And so 30 or 40, it's probably going to be like $700. Which is, ridiculously expensive. So yeah, I'm thinking about whether or not to add glass to it or not, because that's also a cost. Nowadays with Geekly prints or Geekly prints, however you want to pronounce it, it is possible not to have glass at all because the whole look, if there's texture, it resembles a little bit more like paintings, and maybe that's what you want it to look like. So there is a way to maybe cut out the plexiglass. But the thing with the sculptural art is, like you were talking about, Quynh, like whether or not it's going to be sunny in there, and there are windows. So there will be UV rays that come in, not directly, but it's still UV rays. So how can I address that? Usually it's by putting like some sort of museum grade, UV grade plexiglass, acrylic glass on top, but that's also another cost. And it's not something that you can just buy off the shelf, especially since, as an artist, generally a lot of work that you do is not standard sizing. I'm kind of on the fence about it. On the one hand, like I said, I think it's a great opportunity to explore different ways of presenting your work. You don't get a lot of chance to do that, right? You kind of, sometimes we work better when there are requirements and there are guidelines and restrictions. Sometimes when the world's, an oyster, there's just too many options. Yeah, it's a good way for me to narrow down the options. On the other hand, there's the cost issue, there is the hanging issue, and then, just general, how do I want to present my work ultimately, right? Just because if maybe you want to present it one way, but you just have to pay really, a really high cost for that, then it might not be worth it. So these pieces can be sold, which is great. But at the same time, the other thing I was thinking too is, do I want to sell it? Do I want to sell it? Do I want to kind of, because now I'll have, let's say 18, 20 pieces. Do I want to then look for another space to show my work? Which is what a lot of artists do, right? It makes sense. It's a complete set. It's a themed show. Everything is kind of related to each other. It makes sense to kind of bring that and carry that along and bring it to different venues to show. So that's another thing I have to think about too is, I suppose that ultimately is, what is the point of the show? Is it to make money? Is it exposure? Is it to put on my CV? Is it just, a great way of seeing everything together? Is it just for the experience? Like, what is it for? And ultimately I have to determine that. And also, I mean, you guys know, like, you guys make your stuff and you put all your heart and soul into it. It's really hard to let go some of these pieces because you can't make it again, right? Or if you make it again, it's going to take you hours, right?
Yeah.
And it
So
could be slightly different because you've thought about the process.
yeah, exactly. So it's one of those things too, where you're like, I would love to sell it because then I can, I can pay for some of the expenses, but at the same time, it's hard to let go because it's part of a set of artwork that defined your life for, let's say, this year or last year. And so working that in, especially with 3-dimensional work, where I'm using my 3-dimensional work or 2-dimensional work, I sort of want an inventory. I sort of want inventory that I can reuse, kind of like painters. Painters paint like the same thing over and over again. So in my head, I'm like,
Yeah.
why can't we do that? Like, what's wrong? We're not it's like, oh, that's production work. That's mass producing. But no, painters paint the same thing over and over again. Like, how many sunflowers did Van Gogh paint? And it's probably from
Yeah,
different
exactly.
angles, right? At
Yeah.
different points. So I think like I might want to consider keeping a lot of my work so I can reuse it in other still lives or in other ways. So yeah, I have to think about all that and the cost as well. So
Mhm.
but anyways, yeah, I probably will have an opening. It's going to be a small opening, but I'm allowed to organize one anytime actually, in November, January, but probably in November. So I will let all of you guys know. It'd be great to see some artist faces other than my parents and my
Yeah.
family, but people who appreciate the art and, I can actually talk to about art. That'd be
Yes.
amazing.
That would
Yeah.
be amazing. It would be amazing to get our Canadian mastermind students to all meet because they're kind of in your area. That would be really fun.
Yeah. Personally invite Anita to come to the show as well.
Yeah, she really is.
Yeah.
Just an amazing person.
Yeah.
Yeah, so exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyways, yes. Yeah. So that's it. And then there's a lot of work that goes into it. So we'll see how much work I can get done before I need to frame everything but I'm trying not to put too much pressure on myself because as much as I love seeing things with a lot of flowers, our work takes so long to make that I I'd be happy with this being a learning experience of how to put together a show that is cohesive. That's the thing too, right? Talking about collections, talking about a theme show. I suppose in some aspect, our flowers themselves is a running theme, but because it's always a running theme, I feel like there needs to be a little bit more than that. Otherwise everything could go together technically. But for something a little bit deeper, I think that there needs to be a little bit more in the storytelling.
Sure, for
So
sure.
so yeah, I'm working through that. And anyways, we'll see how it goes. Yeah.
I love it. It's going to be so amazing to
Yeah.
see.
But Quynh, tell us about Mexico. That sounds super exciting.
Yes, I'm still working out all the details, but the plan is I recently did a paper flower floral crown with Hitomi Gilliam up in Vancouver, BC, and we're taking it on the road. So not only are we taking it to Mexico City, we're actually going to take it to Japan too, which is going to be super, super amazing. I'm excited to kind of work out the details. So Japan won't happen till 27, but for the Mexico City one, we're doing it with another floral designer that is very famous down in Mexico City. And she's opening her studio up for Hitomi and myself to come down, teach paper flowers, and actually do these really cool, kind of like these headpieces that we're going to use for the Day of the Dead parade. And I think it's going to be really, really amazing. So we're going to be supplying all the different supplies. We're going to be talking about how to make the mechanics to put it on your head. And it's really, if you haven't seen some of the images that Hitomi have created with these pieces, they're really astounding. And just doing the workshop online and seeing the student work, it really pushes the envelope. It pushes how you wear it. It pushes how paper flower is actually displayed, because Hitomi used to do it with fresh flowers. And fresh flowers, if you're doing it with fresh flower, with the stem, with the foliages, with the water tubes to make it last all day long, the piece is actually really, really heavy. And the reason why she and I got together is because she loved the lightness of the paper flowers and not having to worry about the water tubes, the water falling on people's head if they move too quickly. And just being able to create these beautiful, almost epic pieces that are light, easy to wear, and you didn't have to worry about it. And she actually took some of my flowers down to Mexico City just about a month ago to do another workshop, and people loved it. So we're really going to be pushing it a little bit more for the audience to kind of explore this particular medium, to kind of see what people can do around the world with this piece. Because, Hitomi is all about sharing the work and sharing the mechanics. And I really believe in that too, because the more you share, the more people will learn about it and the more people will want to do it. And if you gatekeep things, it just doesn't grow as much. And I really believe in education, of sharing, and I think it's going to be really, really amazing. I feel like Hitomi and I really share a lot of values and beliefs on education, and I think that's the reason why we've been collaborating so much about that.
That's so exciting.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
They also have such a long history of paper flowers and flowers. So it's the perfect place.
Yeah.
And Day of the Dead, that's so cool. Are you going to be there for the parades and stuff? They have parades, right?
Yes. Yes, that's the plan. Yeah, that's the plan. So we're thinking of doing a model walkway to kind of give the student a chance to okay, this is your work. We're going to show it off. I'm going to bring Yvonne Wong with me as my photographer to take these beautiful pictures. And I think it's going to be really amazing. I love Yvonne aesthetic because she likes editorial look. And I really love that. And I feel like she can really push the envelope to get these images for people's portfolio and also for my portfolio. And it's going to be really fun. It's going to be exciting. I can't wait. Yeah. All right, you guys. And also, before we end the episode, we're probably going to do our favorite things. But just to say that you guys need to be teaching. You need to be pushing your paper flowers, putting it in different ways so that people can see it more than just a bouquet, more than just a wall art, more than just a window display. Paper flowers can do so much more than you can imagine. If you can imagine it, paper flowers can really make it happen, from making itty bitty tiny things to larger than life, Alice in Wonderland. It really takes you to the next. I feel like we've been doing this for more than a decade, and I've been seeing paper flower really evolve and grow with whatever people are thinking or doing or trends. It really pushes the envelope. And I really love that we can really change with the time. And I really love that for our community and for you guys to be exploring what paper flowers can do in all different type of medium, from cardstock to crepe paper. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Now to my favorite part. What have you guys purchased so far that has made you super happy? Who wants to go first?
Well, I had cream cheese for lunch. I know it doesn't sound that exciting, but it made my day. It was herb and garlic cream cheese, and I had a sesame, a poppy bagel. And I just love the combination. It's so garlicky. And my kid, my oldest doesn't like cream cheese, and he's like, ew, gross. But it makes me happy. It's that savory punch that I need in the middle of the day to wake me up and be like, this is what food's about. Full fat too. So anyways, it was just a regular, I think it was just Philadelphia cream cheese, herb and garlic. I don't know. It was $7, but it made my day. So that's the little thing that brought me joy today.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I have to share something. Have you ever done the feta whip with cream cheese? Oh my gosh. Okay. Go make it because it's so, so easy. My favorite is the Trader Joe Israeli feta. It's one of the best feta that I've tasted. It's not too salty. It's really firm, has a great flavor. But I think any feta will do. You just take some feta, a food processor, and cream cheese. You add a little bit of olive oil to kind of get that food process to go. And then you just want to whip it all together and it becomes this whipped cream that is savory and it's salty. So don't add any extra salt to it, but it's so good, especially if you roast some cherry tomatoes on the vine, put it on top. Presentation looks amazing. And you just eat it with some bread. It is the best combination.
Oh,
Highly
wow.
recommend.
I'll have to
Sounds
try
really
that.
yummy.
It is really, I'll make it for our mastermind retreat
Yeah.
when the
Ooh,
girls
yes.
come.
Yes.
You'll love it. And then my other favorite snack right now, and my husband's like, why do we have a big bag of dates? So date to me helps you with your glucose, so it stabilizes it, so it doesn't spike it up. I've been loving unsalted, just roasted pistachio with a couple of dates. So I'll eat a couple of dates and eat some pistachio to add that sweetness to it. And it's just been a really great pick-me-up. Love it. So easy, healthy, and great for you.
Yummy.
Yeah. How about you, Sarah? What are you eating or buying these days?
Yeah, I guess I'll have to do a food item too. I just picked up from Trader Joe's. They just had like is it like it's like a red kiwi or inside it's red. I don't know. I just saw it. And
It's
it's
so
good.
good.
It's very different. I love trying their new, like, I don't know, like hybrid fruits and stuff. They
Mhm.
have a few of them. I love like the cotton candy grapes. And
Yes.
then yeah, I just saw it. So it's like a kiwi and inside when you cut it, it's red. It's
Yeah.
weird,
What
but
does it taste like?
It's sweeter. It's like
it is sweeter.
yeah.
It does. I mean, like maybe in my head, I thought it was like a strawberry type of thing, but I don't know if it is. Maybe it's like a
Yeah.
berry
Maybe it's the
kiwi.
red.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it did kind of have that type of taste. It's definitely not like it reminds you of a kiwi, but then maybe there's like a hint of strawberry, although I don't even know
Yeah.
if it's a strawberry thing, but
Have you tried so Costco's been carrying the Indian mango, the kasar. Have you tried it yet?
No.
It has a very distinct floral flavor. So I was watching a lot of videos on how people eat it. So what they do is they get it really ripe, so it's green when it comes, and then you want to wait till it gets very yellow and very squishy. And then before you peel it, you kind of massage it and squish it up. And so all the pulps gets juicy. And then you cut where the stem is, and then you start sucking it like a mango juice. But it's very
Wow.
floral. I've never had a mango has such a floral note to it, which I thought was really interesting. I would say I do love other mangoes on top of it, but this was a very unique mango to eat. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you guys soon.